Admiral Kethra stared at the holographic transmission with growing disbelief. The Vorthan High Command, proud conquerors of 17 star systems, were practically groveling through subspace communications. "Please," General Zixnar's image flickered with desperate urgency, his usually pristine ceremonial armor scorched and dented. "You must take him back. Immediately." "Explain yourself, General," Kethra demanded, her forearms crossed in disapproval. "You demanded a human prisoner for study. We delivered Sergeant James Morrison 3 solar cycles ago." Zixnar's compound eyes darted nervously around his command center. In the background, Kethra could see smoke rising from damaged equipment and medics, tending to wounded Vorthan officers. "The human, he's..." Zixnar struggled to find words. "He's been teaching our soldiers how to improve morale." Kethra's antennae twitched in confusion. "That sounds beneficial?" "No, you don't understand." The general's voice cracked. "It started innocent enough. He showed them how to play something called poker during off-duty hours. Said it would help them bond as a unit." The Admiral waited, sensing there was more. Within 2 days, half our garrison had lost their service weapons in card games. The other half had somehow won 3 shuttlecraft and the keys to the armory. Zixnar's voice dropped to a whisper. He convinced them it was all part of human team-building exercises. Kethra felt a cold dread creeping up her spine. She had heard stories about human psychological warfare, but had dismissed them as exaggeration. "That's not all," the general continued, his voice growing more frantic. "He asked to speak with our prisoners in the detention block. Said he wanted to boost morale there too. You let him? He seemed so harmless, and we thought it might give us intelligence about human empathy protocols." Zixnar's image flickered as an explosion rocked his command center somewhere off-screen. Within hours, the prisoners had organized into what Morrison called a rehabilitation committee. They're now running the entire detention facility. Admiral Kethra's blood ran cold. Running it? How? They've established a merit-based system. Good behavior earns privileges, work assignments earn credits, and somehow 3 prisoners have been promoted to assistant wardens. The general's voice reached a hysterical pitch. The actual guards are now taking orders from convicted criminals because Morrison convinced everyone it was innovative administrative restructuring. Behind Zixnar, a Vorthan officer approached hesitantly. "Sir? The human wants to know if you'd like to discuss implementing his suggestion box initiative for the command structure." "ENOTNOW." Zixnar shrieked. Kethra watched in fascination as her normally composed ally descended into panic. "Where is Sergeant Morrison now?" "That's the problem, we don't know. He was supposed to be in secured holding, but somehow he's been given consulting privileges throughout the base. Last report had him in engineering, teaching our technicians about preventive maintenance through friendly competition." An aide whispered urgently in Zixnar's ear. The general's face went pale. "What now?" Kethra asked. "Engineering reports that efficiency is up 40%, but..." Zixnar swallowed hard. "But they've accidentally built what Morrison calls a motivational barbecue pits into our main power coupling. He convinced them it was for team lunches to improve workplace satisfaction." The transmission shook as another explosion echoed through the Vorthan base. "Admiral, please." Zixnar begged. "We can't handle him anymore. He's not violent, he's not trying to escape, he's just helping, and it's destroying everything." Kethra almost laughed at the absurdity. "You want us to retrieve our own prisoner because he's being too helpful?" "Yes." "No, I don't know." The general pulled at his antennae in frustration. "This morning, he suggested we streamline communications by having all orders go through what he calls a suggestion approval committee made up of the lowest-ranking soldiers. He said it would empower the troops and reduce management stress. And they agreed. My own officers agreed. They think it's the most innovative command structure they've ever seen. Zixnar's voice broke completely. I'm a general, Admiral. I've conquered worlds, but I can't give a simple order without it being workshopped by a committee of privates who think Morrison is some kind of management genius. The transmission flickered again, and in the background, Kethra could see a group of Vorthan soldiers cheerfully painting what looked like motivational slogans on the walls in bright colors. He's turned our military base into some kind of team-building retreat. Zixnar wailed. Half my staff are participating in something called Trust Falls, and the other half are organizing what Morrison calls a moral carnival for next week. Admiral Kethra finally understood why humans were considered the most dangerous species in known space. It wasn't their weapons or their technology. It was their ability to weaponize friendship. We'll send a retrieval ship immediately, General, she said solemnly. Thank you. Zixnar sobbed with relief. And Admiral? Whatever you do, don't let him talk to your crew during the pickup. He asked if he could share some team-building ideas for the journey home. The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving Kethra staring at empty space. She immediately opened a channel to her fleet communications officer. Lieutenant, prepare a retrieval shuttle. Minimal crew. And whatever happens, under no circumstances are they to engage in conversation with the human prisoner. As she ended the call, Kethra couldn't help but wonder, if one unarmed human soldier could accidentally conquer a military base through aggressive helpfulness, what would happen if they actually tried to be destructive? The thought kept her awake for several cycles afterward, and she made a mental note to update the Galactic Threat Assessment files. Humans, dangerous, not because they were warriors, but because they could turn enemies into friends, chaos into order, and somehow make you thank them for it. The most terrifying weapon in the universe, she realized, wasn't a gun or a bomb. It was a human who genuinely wanted to help,